Alright, let's see. That should be working. Let's go for this one. This one. This one. And forget about that. Anyhow. Okay, yeah. Alright. Hopefully all of you can hear me, and ideally if you type something it should appear on the screen. So last time, put this to the side over here. Hello Stephanie, how are you? Thanks for the support with my deck of cards. I appreciate it. As I was mentioning, I already got that stuff moving, so hopefully I'll see if I can uh, like get the what I need for you to get your deck tomorrow, most likely. I'll look to get that stuff or like get it ready so it can get shipped over. So yeah, uh, thank you again. I appreciate it. Yeah, last time, as I was saying, I did this drawing that now you can all see on my social media. I really like this one. There's some stuff that maybe could be better, but yeah, I'm always hesitant when I'm starting one of this. But I guess I just have to trust my process a little bit more. And yeah, just keeping with the theme that I always revert back to, that is animals. Today, well, yesterday, I was thinking of doing an elephant. So, sorry for the time at which I'm connecting, but yeah, well, you know the jazz. So, yeah, 'cause this picture, I like the picture, but the thing is, I don't know if it's like this would be awesome in a like a print of this would be freaking awesome. So this is from King Kijur Nandanilla. So shout out to the person who took this picture. You can see it there. Kijur Nandanilla. So yeah, great picture. There's a bunch of really awesome elephant pictures on Splash. They have premium ones and they have like free to use ones. So this is one of those. Alright. Let's see what I can do today. Sorry for all the yawning. I apologize. I took coffee and I think I've been doing this for so long that I think coffee is like, what are you trying to do, man? Like my body reacts to coffee like, what? What are we doing? Is this water? Is this supposed to do something? I don't know. Maybe I'm um, exaggerating, but yeah, I think your body starts to adapt to caffeine, and then you need more and more. Really? I never heard that one. Uh, that's the first time I ever heard that. I'll make note of that. I do drink a lot of water, but I've never considered it for like tiredness. I remember my wife was actually talking about this. That um, she has an anecdote from like she was on a job that it was like customer service, but it was for a specific time period, like Mother's Day. It's like for that specific company, it's like D-Day for them because it's like 3 4 days that people just go insane buying flowers for their family, their mothers, their grandmothers, that sort of thing, their wives. So the hours were pretty crazy too because it was like I don't know 16-hour shifts or something. So and she's not used to drinking coffee and I'm the one who is always pulling all nighters and that sort of thing. At least yeah, most of the time that's me doing that. So um, give me a second. So um, she was mentioning that some of her workmates, because they were used to doing that job all the time, um, they got into drinking Monster Energy. she she was saying, "Well, I'll try it and see how it works." she she got all freaked out and not freaked out like super like you get so jittery and it like if you're not used to that amount of caffeine, you can get really affected. And I remember when I was studying, I I drank Monster every now and then. Well, actually, it was I used to drink Red Bull uh, when I was in studying illustration. And sorry, it's not good for you. It's terrible for you. But I was so used to caffeine that it was like I was like this does something, but isn't it's not hitting the right spots. So yeah, oh, I forget to get into like I can see the TikToks chat. Well, now I can, but I couldn't before. So did this got cut off? Oh, there I am. Okay, cool. I wonder if thing is if I deactivate that freaking filter, then I cannot do nothing, and it's gonna turn off the stream, which I don't like. Hmm. Just leave the helmet. Yeah, that's why I stopped uh, with the monster, because the amount of caffeine was the thing that kind of freaked me out, because it's a huge amount of caffeine. And I remember uh, when I was studying visual effects, it was like a badge of honor for some of the students there to have piles and piles of energy drinks. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I've done that in the past. I'm not going back to that. It's not worth it. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to sleep. And yeah, I think it's something that you get from experience. Like, it's not worth it that your sleeping hours. Um, like, I do it for this kind of thing, but it's for like specific time frame, and after that I just go straight to sleep. So, and it also depends on the amount of hours that you're awake. Um, I think in overall we tend to wake up like at 6 a.m. or something, 7 sometimes. If we're waking up late, it's like 9 a.m. So, uh, no, let me rephrase that. 8 a.m. I don't remember like the last time that I actually woke up at 9 or 10, which, oh, I love waking up late. It's the best. Whenever you get the chance to do that, it's the best. Also, in high school, I used to study in the afternoon, so for me, it was like, oh, this is perfect. I don't like waking up early. It's nothing against hard work, because like I make this argument. There are people, there are morning people. I don't understand them, but they exist. And the morning people, there's a TikTok that was mentioning that morning people, they have a good time making uh, like night owls feel bad. But the reality of the thing is that there's a lot of people that work, their biorhythm works on a different range, basically. And for the longest time, I was the kind of person that, well, the longest time, I think forever, I've woken up early for years and years and years, because school starts uh, in my country like at 7 a.m. So to be at at the school at 7 a.m., it wouldn't be too crazy to wake up at 5 because of traffic, and like, so you would have to wake up and get in the shower and get ready, do all that stuff. It's like dude, this is my entire life. I was like, this is not why do we do this? Is this really necessary, or is this some form of sick torture? So yeah, whenever I got the chance to actually start waking up a little bit later, I did. Um, and I don't mind working until late. Like I stream at night right now, but I used to like do, I don't know, work until 12. And naturally, if I even if I go to bed, it takes me a while for my energy to get in the right mindset to go to sleep. I don't know. There's a lot of people like me. I know there is because I've heard them talk about this subject, and yeah, I don't know. It's a never-ending story of people that wake up in the morning that think that everyone should wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and go running, uh, and then go to a gym. Yeah, that's not uncommon for people in our field. Not at all. I don't think like maybe some of us, but most of the people I know that are in into art, design, that sort of thing. They're like you. The thing is, I think it's related to the way the brain works for creative people because once you, it's like if you have a wandering brain, basically, is what I'm trying to get to. Uh, because once you, as long as you have inputs, uh, your brain is like, okay, we're doing this. So your brain is kind of like starts to get tired. But the moment you remove all the inputs and you're left alone with your thoughts, then it's like your brain suddenly just like, oh, now I can I don't know, do whatever, think about whatever thing happened 20 years ago or whatever whatever it wants to do at that moment because it, now I'm thinking of that. Yeah, like when you go into as far as I know, I haven't gotten into one of those um, um, sensory deprivation tanks. Apparently, that's the idea. They remove inputs from from your brain, so your brain starts to like go into odd places and like releasing all these chemicals that apparently you can even like hallucinate in one of those. I don't know. I don't. It can be. I think it could be like a little bit scary, but it sounds interesting because I've done meditation in the past, and I wonder if it's similar to that, like deep meditation, or if it's something more vivid. Because yeah, meditation in it of itself can be really interesting exercise, sort of like um, um, daydreaming, sort of. So I think the brain does that when you go to bed for people that are they that have wandering brains, as I'm calling it. You heard it here first. Well, probably that already existed. and I heard it somewhere. But yeah, what is it, buddy? You wanna? I think he wants to get out. Give me a second. He just wanted to go get out. I think he wanted to get into his bed. He wasn't comfortable here, and then I'm making all this noise. So speaking of which, like he's one of the reasons that wakes me up in the morning. Like he can, like, if I move too much, he starts like wondering what I'm doing, and asking me to wake up. I'm like, dude, you sleep all day. I don't get to do that, so leave me alone. I don't know. My dog sleeps like 12 hours a day or something like that. I think, or 8 a day. So if you sum that up, it'll be like 16 hours. This is terrible at math. Yeah, still got it. Still can do simple math. Come on, not that bad at it. I think maybe I am. So to my point of waking up early, yeah, that makes sense. And then, I was mentioning that my cousin had a cat when we when I went to visit them, and the freaking cat, like at after 12 or 1 a.m., it was like you gave him, I don't know, cocaine or something. He was like jumping everywhere on the house, and the thing was that all of them went to sleep, right? And each one of them had their rooms, their separate rooms. And as far as I know, they all closed the doors. I don't remember if my cousin did that, but my point is, then I'm on the outside of all those rooms in my own bed, but like it's the common areas of the house, and the cat is with me in that space. So he would like jump on top of me, and all around the house, and you could hear him like doing parkour at 2 a.m. in the morning. I was like, oh my god. Me trying to sleep, and the cat was like having a, yeah, something like that. He was like having a freak out. I don't know, hallucinating from whatever. I don't know. It was funny, but at the same time, I was like, dude, please go to sleep. Eventually, even the cat just succumbs and go to sleep. But there's a like a period of time that is like at 1,000% energy. So yeah, complete insanity for a couple hours. I got really worried once because it's it's a cat and I was sleeping on an air mattress. So I was like, if this freaking thing jumps on the bed and just claws the thing, I'm gonna sleep on the floor. uh, so that thought was going through my mind uh, a lot of the time. Oh yeah, the pets can be little devils. Ours didn't like Max when he was growing up. He didn't mess up many things here, but there were some, especially when he was changing his teeth from baby teeth or puppy teeth to adult. Uh, he got into like a little bit of a shoeing thing for a while. He grew over that. He doesn't destroy anything here. We sometimes we go out and we have to leave him behind because we cannot take him with us. And when we come back, it's rare that he messes something up. It's really rare, which is something awesome, I think. Like normally dogs, they don't like to be left alone, and he doesn't like to be left alone. But I want to leave a camera for a while. I haven't done that. I'm gonna try it with my wife and see um, what he does. But I've always guessed that I always thought like maybe he just goes to sleep eventually and just wakes up when he hears us. That's my thought because he's like super comfy here. He doesn't like we leave the air conditioner on, and his water, his bed, like so. He's thinking of making his life comfortable. So, but of course they're social animals, so they don't like to be alone. Um, and most of the time he's with us, so should be fine. Uh, Pump up the contrast. Oh my goodness. That's a little bit better. Okay, okay, okay. Alright. Because they're under shadow, I cannot really tell. Oh, they're the same, but I'm making it not the same. So you have I actually made a huge illustration of an elephant that got turned into a vinyl for a piece of glass. It actually looked really cool. I like the what I did. It was for a family member that really loves elephants. I don't know what, like, if they still have a version of that somewhere. I must have it somewhere, but yeah, I did do something dumb and like made it real size. I should have just made it at scale and then blow it up, but I didn't do that. I didn't know any better at the time. But the illustration turned out really cool. Well, this one doesn't bother me. It's the other one, which I think I already deleted. Okay. Yeah, my family member, she's like my political aunt. I don't know how to, if that translate well. Uh, but she's really into elephants, and she wanted something. She wanted an elephant. She has like a collection of elephants that she gotten over the years of different types of sculptures and so on and so forth. So she wanted a, yeah, one of these magnificent creatures. It's, according to what I remember, she was saying that, or she mentioned that they are associated with well-being, prosperity, and a bunch of other stuff. And it would make sense, I guess. I think that in Africa they have sort of that, or at least they used to have that sort of understanding about elephants. A friend your family adopted? No, no. It's in Spanish when, like, let's say my uncle, like my blood uncle, uh, his wife, in Spanish, the translation is tía política. It's in Spanish. The direct translation would be political aunt. So, but I don't know how that gets translated. I actually haven't said that ever in English. So, yeah, I'm not sure of the translation there, but it's basically his wife, and that that's kind of the term that gets used for those situations. Uncle's wife. Yeah, well, fair enough. And in Spanish, you have like like in English, you have in-laws, your in-laws, kind of that same idea, but for other types of a stepmother, for example, in English. we have a version of that in Spanish. For it's the same idea with your uncle's wife. In Spanish, it would be like this specific term to refer to that connection. But yeah, I find it always funny when like some things don't translate exactly, or they well, it's a little bit different. But for example, wave wave in Spanish, it's hola. But if you say hi, it's hola too. The difference is that one has an H on it, and the other one it's OLA. So yeah, there's a lot of that weird stuff with language that it's really funny to me. And there's a I saw there's a few TikTokers that do like they joke about that sort of thing. Like in French, apparently there's a bunch of stuff that you can say with I think it's tongue. So it's they the person made a phrase like, how do you say this tongue? How do you say this other thing tongue? How do you say this other thing tongue? So the whole phrase is like ton 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 ton. That kind of thing. To me is really funny. Uh, yeah, and like counting in French is also kind of. My wife was explaining to me like you don't say 40. It's like you say 20 plus 20 or something like that. I think that's kind of what she was mentioning, or it's it's 20 plus 10 plus 10, or it's something like that. And I was like, why? Why would you make it? Why would you make it harder? So, and that's like you can look into any language and they have a version of that sort of thing. Um, which I find really interesting. I wonder if this is a female or a male. My guess it's a male. Could be. Like it's easy. Like I used to watch a lot of Discovery Channel. When you see them on their side and they're in heat, they they like secrete this weird thing, so you can easily tell if it's a male, and also by the size. But looking at it from this angle, it's a little bit harder. The other thing is the tusk. As far as I remember, males had the largest tusks. Um, but yeah, I cannot tell just from the picture. I wonder if the other ones are okay. Cool. ask myself, yeah, the best thing you can do is just keep going, no matter what, with stuff. Not stop to think too much about certain things. It's not worth it. Uh, so I was saying that elephants apparently they um, were associated with prosperity. I believe in Africa, and I could be wrong because it's been so long since I like done a deep dive on this kind of thing. Uh, they associated elephants with that because they're really good at finding water and um, yeah they make this sort of pathways in the middle of the Sahara and of the Sahara the Serengeti is like basically other animals follow their paths to water because they do remember how to find water and they do it all the time. They remember places they went there with their family and they go to those places. So maybe that's part of why they're associated with prosperity. They're also incredibly smart. So it just saddens me that we killed them for so long. It's so stupid. Like for what? I don't know. If you tell me that it's for food, okay, I can understand that. Like if you have a group a large group of humans are hungry and like you cannot find anything else. It's like a large animal, so you can feed your family for I don't know a really long time. I understand, but still, they're so similar. They basically they have their own society. Uh, they understand death. They have rituals that they do when they find their loved ones passed away. They they remember the spot and they go to that place and kind of do like a salute and they kind of like it's impressive what once you see them behave around a family member of their group that passed away. It's like they're mourning, and they they kind of do all this process to deal with the passing of their family member, pay respects, and so on. It may seem like nonsense what I'm saying, but if you see the videos of them doing that, it's freaking impressive. Like it's shocking to see how how similar they can be to what we would do, uh, and they do remember like so many things. Apparently, there was a case of I'm trying to remember it was if it was like a lady killed an elephant uh from a group of elephants, and the female, because they are matriarchal, they're not patriarchal. So the males usually get kicked out of the group once they start getting violent. They get kicked out of the group, so they have to be on their own uh, a lot of the time. Um, but apparently the female like hunted down this woman and just went to town. Uh, yeah, so was looking for revenge. Uh, what can you say about that? Like, can you judge an animal that does that with all the stuff we do to their environment, to their groups? Like they're literally traumatized about humans. Some of them hate humans. They cannot see humans, or they try to go after them. And it's like a huge problem because, like, what do you do with a, I don't know how many tons one of these things weights. The the African elephant is like twice, I believe it's like twice the size of an Indian elephant, which are already gigantic. So yeah, then the answer is to mark them, which I don't know. Just it's really sad, man. It's really sad that we if we of course there's multiple religions, and I don't know what the other ones say, but the one that I know uh, a lot is it's Christianity, and they talk about like if like Earth is supposed to be our what do you call it, for ours to use at our disposal, which I don't agree with, but we're also supposed to take care of it. And yeah, I feel we don't do a very good job at that a lot of the times. It's really sad for me. But I also know that there's a lot of people that protect elephants and large creatures, and they're trying to do their best to keep them safe, protected, and to the best of their ability. So there's good people out there. They're trying to do good. At least I like to think that. If not, it's way too grim to deal with. Like, I like to think that there's good people out there, or at least well-intentioned people out there. Anyhow, all right. So maybe you cannot see that much for this drawing. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I know there's like reservoirs of for large mammals like elephants and zebras and all those like rhinos. They're famously a bunch of guards that protect rhinos. There's like I don't know if that rhino has passed away, but there's like a few white rhinos and they have assigned a few guards. They just 24/7 their job is to protect those rhinos. And yeah, it's sad that we got to that level of mismanage wildlife. Oh, they're still alive? That's awesome. That's great to hear. Um, yeah, I kind of checked out from that because I like whenever I hear that for example I heard something about somebody getting attacked by a tiger and then they started shooting at the tiger, which pisses me off because the other part of the story is that that person got into a place where they kept tigers. So, like, why would you mark the tiger? What's your reasoning there exactly? Uh, like, the tiger is doing exactly what it does. It's a tiger. So that doesn't. It drives me crazy. If anything, just take care of the person that got in there so it doesn't suffer anymore. But like that person is the one that's doing stupid things, and there's a whole history of like there's a lady way back, I don't know how many years back, that got into a bear. Like she got near a polar bear, and the polar bear just dragged her in, and that's end of the story. Like there's a polar bear. Like I don't know what people think sometimes. Like for there's also the story that one really gets to me. The gorilla, a kid fell into a gorilla enclosure, and the gorilla was like helping the kid and stuff, like carrying it, and they decided to kill the gorilla. I was like, really? That's so smart. That's we're delightful. Eh, I don't know. I just that sort of thing. I don't like it. It really affects me because there's like for example, if you see a chimp, I don't have that empathy that I have for other creatures. I don't have that for chimps. To me, they have malice, and like if you see the things that they do, of course they're still animals, but like I don't have that same empathy towards them. Like I wouldn't. For me, it's fine that they live where they live, but they freak me out, and they're super smart. They act with malice. They plan attacks. They work in groups. Like it sounds really eerie, similar to another species. So yeah, I don't have that much empathy for chimps, but gorillas, they don't harm anyone. They if they do, it's like you're literally going into their jungle and bothering them, and that sort of thing. Or orangutans, they like we burn their environments. The stories about that it are horrible. Just to grow, it's like there's a bunch of food that gets made from an oil that they bring from plants that they plant in the places uh, where orangutans live. So it's like a whole thing because they burn the forests there, and like they basically have been wiping out the population increasingly. I don't know how it's right now, but the last time like yeah, palm oil. Mm, no, thank you. What? Yeah. Spam. So yeah, I didn't want to get into this bad note, but yeah, I think that's. By the way, that's the reason I draw animals. One of the reasons, because I feel they're like a gift uh, to this earth, and for the most part, they don't have malice. They just do as they know. They like a bear is gonna do what a bear does. He's gonna eat whatever he gets his hands on, and a lion the same thing, a jaguar the same thing. You just have to be freaking careful and like no, do not go and bother one of them. Uh, I get it. Like I get it if it gets to a point that it's like, oh, they're turning into a pest. Okay, I get that. Like you need to control the population. That makes sense. That checks out. I don't know, like deer or um, I don't know, animals that reproduce on a exponential uh, manner. I get that, but the other side of that, like, are we allowed to just hunt or or kill any creature indiscriminately? I don't think we should. There should be control around that, especially with creatures that are in danger, like elephants, which they are, but we affected the population so much that like they have generational trauma uh, about humans. So I should tell you all you need to know about that. Um, I don't know. It's messed up. I know there's a bunch of reservoirs, but I wonder if we still have time to protect what we have left. Like whales, for example, we hunted whales for reservoirs for water, right? And uh, when I went to the museum, I saw all these whale bones. It kind of freaked me out and rubbed me the wrong way because there were so many, and we just marked them to the verge of extinction just because we needed to fuel lamps. That was the main reason. I guess we also consume the meat, and that makes it a little bit less terrible, probably. Perfume, yeah. Uh, I was talking to my mom a while back because she didn't like the uh, no, Avatar one was both of them are about conservation and respecting like the natives of different cultures. That's the message there. It's about connecting with like how we should actually be pursuing connecting with nature rather than destroying it and going against it and all that stuff. That might sound like, well, he Cameron talks about it like, oh, that's super hippie stuff, and they were telling him to remove that from the movie because nobody's gonna want to see any of that. And I was like, the reason I want to make the movies is because of that hippie stuff. So yeah, it was like the line in the sand for him for those movies. So to my point, what I was saying is that there's a whole thing about whales on that film on the second one, and I guess people that if they're not in tune with what I'm talking about conservation and that sort of thing, maybe it just flies over them the point that the Cameron was trying to make, that whales are these sentient beings that we're lucky to share a planet with, and we decided to use them as fuel. It's freaking nonsense. Like I get it. Oh, we need it for like I don't know. Let's figure something else that doesn't imply killing. Like we have very few near, like really close to us in the level of sentient uh, that we have in the case of whales and elephants and I don't know crows. Crows luckily are doing fine. They're freaking smart, and they also learn not to. They know the way we are, and it's funny that they're vindictive. Like, yeah, you mess with one of them, and all of them starts to like the word gets around that you don't like crows and they don't like you, and If they see you, they're gonna try to do something to you. Uh, but like, I don't really. Yeah, maybe like in that regard, maybe I'm too hippie because I know that society needs to keep going, but my point is, at what cost do we continue to exploit the planet? Maybe we could try to put our efforts into solar as much as we can. Figure out other technologies if solar is not the answer. Uh, like we're, I think the number is like 2 billion people around the planet. So I think we have enough people to put our brains together and figure out some stuff that we could do to mitigate our effects on the planet. At the same time, I'm telling you all this, and I'm drawing uh, on paper, which is, as far as I know, comes from trees. I guess you can do it from any type of pulp, vegetative, vegetative. Come on, vegetable pulp, but um, yeah, you can recycle paper. I've done it, so that you can actually recycle. So I don't know, that sort of thing. Like we can figure that stuff out. Why wouldn't we be able to figure out other stuff? Anyway, 1 hour 9. All right, I'm cutting the stream soon. I don't know how many people watch this. Uh, maybe not many. I have to like start doing my streams earlier, but most of the time I don't get the chance to do it. So anyway, if you watch the stream, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Sorry for the random rant about us messing with nature. Um, but yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope to see you next time. Consider subscribing, so consider hitting that bell and that like and all that good stuff. Helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you. And yeah, um, I guess I'll see you on the next one. Alright, I'm gonna look for my music now and be cutting the stream soon. Good night. See you next time.
can balance